Hey guys, and welcome back to Cultured Boys, a show where two guys just want to have a chat. I'm Nathan, and as always, I'm joined by Pepe. And this week, we're doing something a little different. We're going to go into a genre of music that Pepe and I have very little experience with. How are you, Pepe?
I am very well, Nathan. Very well. It's going to be an interesting one talking about this because, yeah, as Nathan said, the genre of music we have very familiarity with is we're talking about K-pop. Yay!
Yay!
But yeah, like I have very little experience with K-pop. Like I think the first K-pop song I heard was what was it? Big Bang. I don't know if you know him at all.
Yes, I do
What
actually
was
know
it
Big Bang. Yeah.
Fantastic Baby? Like, wow, Fantastic Baby.
Okay. I don't know that song. I know the
Oh, no, you
band. I've
don't.
heard
Oh,
of the
okay.
band.
Oh man, that was back in like 2013 or something though. So it's been a
I,
while.
I thought you were gonna say pretty much like the same thing most people would say. Most
Oh yeah.
average people, it's Gangnam Style because that's
Oh, right. Okay. No,
like
Gangnam
that. You
Style
know,
is that's in a different league because I was obsessed with Gangnam Style back in 2012, and no word of a lie for about God 7 years I had Gangnam Style as my morning alarm on my phone.
oh god,
And like literally, like I think at first in 2012, I was like, "Oh, this is funny." Like, wake up to Gangnam Style, it's funny. But then, like, I probably after like 2, 3 years, it was like I don't really care about Gangnam Style anymore, and it's just like
yeah, but I mean, like that's
it
kind
just
of
becomes
your fault
yeah,
because you turn you when you make it an alarm sound, anything you associate with disrupting your sleep
yeah.
is gonna have a bad reputation.
Yeah,
You're gonna hate
it
it,
kind of
like.
it kind of turned into a bit of like okay, it was fun at first, and now it's just like okay, it's Gangnam Style in the morning. Get the fuck up.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I used to have songs as my alarm tone as well, but like, I stopped
Yeah.
that for that exact reason. I'm like, I want to enjoy this song, not be like, oh, for fuck's sake, now I have to get up.
Yeah, I just go for the standard iPhone alarm now. So there we go.
Yeah, like that's I think my first exposure
Mm.
to K-pop because that was like a global phenomenon.
There was like what was it? Bands like Girls' Generation as well. They were really like OG. Like I remember them. Like it was kind of like 2012 internet. Like Girls' Generation was up there, I believe. Big Bang and I think that was yeah, like Psy was big as well. But that's like the only ones I knew back then. Like quite recently, I know Twice. I've got a couple of their songs on my playlist. Like I
They're
quite like their
they're
stuff.
quite big, yeah.
Yeah,
I see them on, or I used to see them recommended on YouTube a lot.
yeah.
I mean, like, I know loads of the bands. I've just never. I don't know. There's just something about K-pop, and I guess we'll get into how we were listening to it. Um, on Spotify, you can get a top 50 playlist of like almost any location. So what we did was we listened to the top 50 in South Korea, and we listened to any song that has a Korean artist in it. We avoided the ones that have Western artists for the obvious. It's an English song, so it's
Yeah.
not really K-pop. Yeah, I sort of it was. This is gonna get me in trouble. I feel like people are gonna be mad.
I mean, let's just express this at first. Like, obviously, we haven't listened to much K-pop, and we're no music experts. We're just talking about our thoughts on the genre here. And
Yes.
like, everyone's got different tastes in music. I think everyone's allowed to love music, hate music, or whatever. Everyone's got different tastes. It's like food, isn't it? You gotta like some things, you gotta hate some things, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's just a
Okay. But
taste.
like in my in my view,
Hmm.
this is like the worst opinion
Okay.
because it's neither for or against. Right.
Okay. So you're like,
K-pop is fine,
yeah.
but I just found like whilst I had the playlist on, it was great background noise and
Okay.
it
Yeah.
all sort of sounded the same to me. Obviously there's outliers, right? There were things that actually sounded different, but like to me, especially when there were several artists in a row, it all just sort of blended in together and I had no idea that one song
Hmm.
ended and a new one started. And this is why I feel like this opinion is the worst because I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I could listen to it, but I also don't care if I do or not.
I think it's kind of like similar comparing it to say like indie bands or rock music, right? 'Cause, like, when there's a certain sound that's going on, a lot of, like, bands will try and replicate that, or there's very similar things going on. And right now, I do feel that, like, again, yeah, whatever, you can come at me if I get hate or whatever, but a lot of the K-pop top 50 feels a bit oversaturated with certain types of music. I mean, the thing is, there's a style at the moment. Everyone's trying to do it, and there's gonna be people who have favorite bands that, "Oh, I prefer this version of this genre, or I prefer this thing." And there's, yeah, you can have your favorite groups or whatever. And let's face it as well. There's a borderline idol culture over there as well. Like, there's
Yeah,
gonna be like there's gonna be certain like stands, for example. There's gonna be like certain like artists that will have a massive fan base. Sometimes because of the music, sometimes it's just that they love the person that's in the band at the end of the day, and they'll devote their whole like listed like library, like all their all their attention to that one person, even if there's like just one in a single band. So like there's lots of factors you can put into this, loads of different factors.
I will say though, I was quite surprised, and this is just, from general internet knowledge and stuff. I was actually quite surprised there's not that many BTS songs on there.
Especially since you hear like around the world there's like a BTS craze right now.
Yeah, right. So you would assume, and there is the age old saying, if you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I'm making an ass of myself apparently, but I'm showing my ignorance.
Yeah.
But I would have expected more BTS songs to appear on said playlist just because, again, from general knowledge,
Mhm.
BTS is quite popular. I mean, I hear their music on TV quite a lot in adverts, and I saw music videos all the time on YouTube at one point. So
Yeah. They're not on hiatus, are they?
I think they are. I think they
It
were.
might be a contributing to it.
Yeah, it might be. I think they're. If I remember correctly, I think they are on hiatus and they are considering pursuing solo avenues at the moment, but they're not splitting up. They're just
Yeah. Oh, well,
not doing stuff as a group at the moment.
bear in mind, well, God, it depends on what way you look at. I'm just googling it now, like a little quick Google search. So I've got like one article here that says BTS are not splitting up or like in on hiatus. And then there's another one which says BTS announced hiatus. And so it depends on where you see. I think I'm going for the top headline here on Google. So correct me if I'm wrong. I've done this tiny bit of research, but BTS is not going on hiatus. I said the announcement that they were due to go on hiatus is a translation error. The members of
Oh,
the
okay,
boy
fair.
band will be pursuing solo projects, but will be continuing to work together. So I think that does kind of explain why you do kind of have a
Yeah,
lot of like single artists from BTS scattered amongst the top 50 as well.
I mean maybe they. I'm gonna take your word on that because I don't know any of their names, so I
Yeah.
wouldn't recognize it. I wouldn't know.
So just like listing off a few of them, like the highest collaboration, well, collaboration in general is with Benny Blanco and Snoop Dogg with BTS completely. So that is like the
Yeah,
highest one that's up there. But it's an interesting one because it is technically, yeah, it's K-pop, but it is also with Benny Blanco and Snoop Dogg, who are very big
yeah.
Western artists. So
It's a all right song.
I think it was okay. The thing is with it, it's the song's called Bad Decisions, and for me, it kind of felt like I've listened to quite a few Benny Blanco's different songs. He's a producer, and he usually gets people to collaborate and stuff like that. It's not his best song personally, and BTS are okay on it. Snoop Dogg just feels really unnecessary to me.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought it was really weird that Snoop Dogg was on that song.
Yeah, but this is the thing with Snoop Dogg, right? Like, I know this isn't K-pop anymore, but like this is the thing with Snoop Dogg. Sometimes you just find him on the most random collaborations ever, and it just doesn't bang. Just because it's like, hey, we got Snoop Dogg on this, but is it good? No. Snoop
I
Dogg.
mean, like, it's it's an older song, K-pop song, but I liked him with Psy on
Did
Hangover.
you like him Hangover? See, I thought it
I
was
liked
just.
Hangover.
I'm not a fan of Hangover. You
It's
know,
still on my playlist. I actually quite like that song.
is it?
I think
Fair,
it's
fair enough, man.
I
Fair.
think it's different enough. That's why I like it. Like,
Hmm. Like speaking of Psy, I think like I did listen to him for a few years after Gangnam Style as well. He was one of those artists that, like, I loved like, I prefer Gentleman over Gangnam Style, personally.
I didn't really like Gentleman.
Oh,
I
okay.
preferred some of the other songs that came out a little later.
I think his other album that he did, after Gentleman was, like well, I think it was 2014, 2015. He released an album, and, like, it had, like, Will I Am on it and that and stuff like that as well. That was quite a good album, actually. I quite enjoyed that. That's where he came out with, like, Nepal Baji and, what was the other Daddy, I think the song was called. Like, those are quite good
Yeah, I
songs,
like
yeah.
that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's also on my playlist.
Yes, like, that's I think that was actually a banger of an album. But it's worth saying as well that, Psy does also have a collaboration with one of the members from BTS on this list.
Oh, right, yeah, yeah.
And it is like I think it
It
came
was
out
alright.
about a month or two ago, I believe. And yeah, it's an okay song. I don't think I'll like. I didn't add it to my playlist. Let's put it that way.
No,
And
that song was, like, mid, very mid. I was like, yeah, good." It was alright background noise.
it's one of those ones where like I don't know it was just there, and like we because we've listened to Psy before. I think it just like you compare it to his other songs, and realistically, it's not as good in my opinion. And
It
I
didn't
think
feel very Psy to me.
see this is the thing that I
Like,
wrote down though, about this song when I was making notes is that if I never heard of Psy before, right, and I heard this song, I'd be like, "What the fuck is this? This is like absolutely nuts! What the hell?" Like, and like I'd actually probably enjoy it more, but the thing is, I have heard Psy's other songs, and I'm comparing it to that, and I'm like, it doesn't slap as much. That's my opinion.
yeah.
Right. It's good, but it's just not it's not Psy enough. The Psy that we
Yeah, that's
know.
what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
it just didn't feel
Mm.
like Psy's music. It
Yeah.
felt like Psy was in somebody else's song.
Yeah. And I mean, apologies if I pronounce this wrong. Suga from BTS. Like he's in it, but like he doesn't really contribute a lot, in my opinion. I think he was there to kind of boost the like you get a guy from BTS on your song, you're gonna have like a big hit somewhere because it's like it's BTS, and I think anyone can get anything. Like, they'll take anything they can of BTS right now, and like having that feature on there is a massive deal for Psy, I guess, especially.
Fair enough.
I mean, yeah, that's my opinion anyway. Like, I think it's an okay song. Just yeah.
I mean, talking about songs you added to a playlist, I literally only, at least from yesterday's listen, I listened to this whole playlist twice.
Okay,
Once a
yeah.
couple of months ago and yesterday.
Hmm.
And both times I only found one song out of, I mean, if you take out a handful of English songs, let's say there was five. So like one song out of 45 I found both
Oh,
times.
oh, really? Okay, fair. What songs did you find that you added to your playlist?
So the first time I listened to it, an artist called Big Naughty had a song called Vancouver, and I just literally out of all the 40 odd songs I listened to,
Mm.
that was the only song I vibed to.
Okay, interesting.
And I think it's because it had more of a Western sound, which sounds really bad, right? But it like, I don't know, it just had something about it I vibed to, and I really enjoyed that song. Which is a shame because I went and looked up the artist,
Mhm.
and that's his first EP, and all the other songs I did not vibe with at all,
Did
except for
wh
that one song.
what did you think of Beyond Love? Because that's the other song that's like 'cause I remember when you mentioned Big Noir, I was like, "Oh, yeah, I've heard this guy," because he's number 15 in the top 50 right now.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I didn't like it as much as
I
Vancouver.
I look at my notes. So what notes did I make on this guy? Because I was like, "Oh, Nathan likes him." I'm like, I'll look at what notes are. And literally these are my notes on the song. Big Naughty and 10 centimeters. It's okay, chill song, no massive thoughts on
Yeah,
it.
like, and that is again my in thought on. It's hard to say the entire genre, but like both times I listened to this playlist,
Hmm.
that was my thought. Is that I'm like, yeah, these are all right. Like K-pop's all right.
Yeah.
But anyway, yesterday I found a song called "Love Me" by the artist B.O.
Yes. Okay. We need to talk
That
about this
song was
guy.
really good.
It is really good, isn't it? I really enjoyed that. Like, I think I've literally written. Okay, referring back to my notes again. It's number 41, number 41 in the top 50, and literally Here's a little dictation of my notes I wrote down. Bear in mind, I probably started making notes in the song about 5 seconds in. Okay, so "Love Me" by Bo. Oi, this goes hard straight away. I really like this. Wouldn't surprise me if this came from TikTok or is a trending TikTok song. The rapping is sick, and I love the beat. But yeah,
I
I really
honestly
did
like
enjoy it. Like, it was really good.
no, yeah, I agree with you because again, sat through so many songs,
Hmm.
right? And then all of a sudden I was like, "Yo, what is that?"
Yeah.
I had that a few times, but not because I'm like, "Oh, I have to add that to my playlist." It was because another artist that we'll get into,
Yeah, yeah.
who's on there a lot,
Mhm.
they have a lot of songs on there, and their sound changes sometimes,
We
right?
we'll talk about it in a
But
bit, yeah.
yeah, and then all of a sudden, "Love Me" came on. I was like, "Yo, what is that?" Like I stopped everything I was doing because I was like listening to music in the background. I was playing video games and stuff. Like I was just chilling out,
Mhm.
and that song, I was like, I paused the game. I stopped everything I was doing. I was like, "What is that? That needs to go on my playlist right
Mhm.
now."
Yeah. Same here. Absolutely. Like, I listened to this and I was like, "Yo, this is absolute banger." Added it straight to the playlist, and then surprise, later on when I was listening to play because I listened it in numerical order from 1 to 50,
Yeah,
and,
same.
number 49 is another B is it BO? How do we pronounce this? Because I'm just
I've
like
been
B.
saying B and then leaving a bit of a gap
Yeah.
O because being English,
Yeah.
if you just say BO straight
It
away,
just
people
sounds
conjure up body odor.
yeah,
So
that's what I'm like. But anyway, like he's got another song on here with an artist called Paul Blanco, not related to Benny Blanco whatsoever. Again, Paul Blanco is actually a South Korean artist as well, musician.
okay, cool.
They did a collaboration. It's called Summer. Have you heard that?
I did. I don't think I actually had too many thoughts on that song.
I think it's like it's funny because like, I feel it does feel like a summer track. This is the one thing of it. Like it feels very current to like what's going on in the rest of the like world, like music wise. I think it's very like it feels very mainstream. In even in the West, I feel this would hit quite well. I think. But no, I quite enjoyed that as well. I was like, okay, this is actually quite. But I think I can like I'll add a song to my playlist if like my thoughts are if I can drive to it and have a good time, it's going on the playlist.
The My thoughts are similar. I If I hear a song and I'm like, right, I reckon I could listen to this continuously.
Mm,
Like if I'm like feel like I could put that on repeat or just hear that time and time again, I'm like, right, that's going
yeah.
on the playlist.
Mm.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes even if you like vibe with something really strong, you're like, yeah, but that like it's a one time thing.
Mhm.
I wouldn't, some songs you vibe with that one time, but you're like, I'm never gonna listen to that again because I'm just not gonna get the same sort of visceral
I
reaction.
get that, yeah. And there's like sometimes like yeah, I go through that and then just like it'll be like about 2 or 3 months later, and I'll be like, nah, I'm removing that from the playlist. I'm not vibing
Yeah,
with it.
exactly. And
Yeah.
like obviously your tastes change over time. So like even ones you're like add now that you're like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to that like 100 times. It's like you might listen to it 10 times and then be like, okay, I'm done. Um, I think I know why I probably didn't pay attention to Summer so much
Yeah.
because number 48 by Lim Young Woong,
Yeah.
Love Station, that song tripped me the fuck out.
It is a very like it's a very strange song. It is
No, do you
very
know why? It's because
yeah.
this song replicates old Chinese music from the 80s.
Yeah.
Like this, it really threw me through a loop because I was like listening to all this pop music, and then I was like, wait, when did my parents' playlist come on? Like, this is
Yeah.
something I would have heard when I was like 5 or 6 in the car on a CD or a
Yeah.
cassette, right? I was like, holy shit, this is what the fuck is that? It was literally like a blast from the past. And I even went
Yeah.
and played it for my family, and they were like, what the hell is that?
It's funny because I was questioning what I was listening to, and I was like you said, it feels like something that is very dated, and it feels like something the old generation would love. This is the one thing I felt
Yeah,
with it, like or like
because it
yeah,
is.
it literally is, isn't it? It's like, I was like, I've written down. I'd imagine a grandma listening to this.
Oh god, that's so hilarious
Yeah.
because I'm like, I actually think some of my family probably, if there were no lyrics, they probably mistake that for something they know.
Yeah.
Because like I literally was like, I heard it and then I started thinking, where have I heard that before? My brain instantly tried to connect the dots, but I was like, no, you haven't heard this before because it's not an old Chinese song, but it sounds like all of the old Chinese songs from like the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
It's mad. Absolutely mad.
It is so funny. Yeah, like, my reaction was, "What the fuck am I listening to?" It was so true.
What again, like, and this like transitions us into talking about this artist because
Yeah,
he
we
is
need to
on
talk
there
about it.
like loads, right?
Okay, yeah. So I looked in. So basically, because he turned up so many fucking times, I was like, "What is the deal with this dude? Is he like the newest like sensation in like South Korea or something?" And googling him, turns out that this
Mhm.
guy is he won a talent show back in
Oh,
2020 called Mr. Trot, I believe. Again, like, apologies if my date, like my research isn't like fully fleshed. It's only like a little bit. But he won a talent show and he's been releasing songs since about 2016, or he's been in the public eye since 2016. But he only really got big in 2020. And
okay,
this is his first album. And
right.
what a way to launch an album, because every song on here feels completely different, and it's like I'm like Google like describes him as a balladeer, like sort of like a crooner in a way.
Yeah, that's I would agree with that because there's a lot of very slow ballad songs on there.
If anything he comes through on, he does ballads, and granted, like, credit where it's due, he actually has a sick voice for what he does,
Yeah,
and the music is very like, okay, yeah, like, you can really see why some of his songs are up there. However, with that whole album, it's like they got a dartboard full of genres, right? And we're just
yeah,
throwing darts and say, what song we gonna make? Okay, that one, that's a reggae song. We're gonna put some reggae in
yep,
there.
yep.
What's this one? We're going, oh, that sounds like it's from a 70s Japanese TV show intro. We're gonna make that as well. And honestly, there's so much on here. And I was like, what the hell?
Besides Love Station, that's the only other thing I noted about this artist is that the variation is mind-boggling,
Yeah.
right? He just he literally just has a bunch of ballads that are very somber, and I
Hmm.
sort of it brought my mood down, even though I was trying to chill out and play video games. And
Yeah.
uh and then all of a sudden one of his other songs come on and you're like, what the fuck is this? And not in a bad way. It's
No.
just again like the whole playlist has a certain sound. It's pop heavy, right? But then all of a sudden this guy comes out with his old fucking Chinese inspired song and his reggae and other fucking genre defining songs and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, like, it's so much. There's one song which I've noted, I think is like, I've actually added it to my playlist because I thought it was like, it's quite a vibe a little bit. It's called Rainbow, right? And
Oh, that one, yeah,
I've written down like it's chill, and it's I've written down Eurovision vibes for it
yeah.
because it sounds so freaking camp. And there's another note I've written here down. It's called, I don't even know what the rhythm is here because I did this last night. It's just five do's in a row. So it's do 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 do, and apparently I feel like there's quite a lot of do do do's in there.
Probably was if you wrote that down.
Yeah. Yeah, Eurovision, but it's like, honestly, there's so many different songs on here, and they just really catch you off guard, like, because when you listen to this playlist blind as well, you'll, like, go in and be like, "Okay, this is the artist here," or "This is the artist." And then but then it would go from one song, like, which is by him, and it's like, "Okay, this is really upbeat thing," and then it's a second one by him, like 2 in a row, and you're like, "Okay, this is a different artist. Who is it? Oh, no, it's the same guy." It
Yeah,
is freaking Young Jungkook coming through again and again with all these fucking random songs. He's
yeah.
dominated it, fair play to him. He's got every single song on that album in that top 50.
That's trippy.
It is
It
too.
is honestly, it is maddening though. Like
Yeah.
Pepe's right. You'll go from some somber ass slow song, and then all of a sudden just Same guy, different genre. He'll it just comes out of
Yeah,
nowhere, slaps you in the face, and you're just like, huh?
yeah.
What?
There was
What?
one
What?
There's one point, where it was Love Letter and Father, they played once after each other, and I was on my phone just playing, like, some game or whatever, and I was like, "This song's going on for ages, what the hell is this?" And I realized the song changed halfway through, and I didn't even
That's what
clock.
I was
Yeah,
saying.
I didn't even
That's what
clock
I was
this.
saying.
Yeah.
That's like the first 3 songs are by, I'm assuming, a band
Yes,
or
New
New
Jeans.
Jeans, right?
Yeah.
And when all 3 kept going, I thought it was the same song. Like at one point, I realized it wasn't because I listened to the lyrics and I was like, oh,
Mm,
they're saying something different this time.
yeah.
But like 3 songs in a row, and I was like, wow, this is a really long fucking song.
Yeah, it's like I was trying to comprehend why all three of those songs are at the top, and it just feels like I don't know. Like my reasoning for this at first was like, oh, they're just really big right now, and all three songs are from the same album. You know, like some when an artist drops an album, a lot of the
Yeah.
songs sound the same, apart from Lim Young Woo, where he's just like, nah, fuck this, I'm throwing the book out the window. But my excuse to this is maybe it's all from the same album, and maybe like they just got a massive fan base and they just all added it. But like, I don't know, man. Like these songs, Attention, Hype Boy, and Cookie, they all just literally, like you said, they all felt the same vibe.
Yeah.
And like I don't understand personally why they're that high up. I think there's other songs on this playlist which I think
Oh
are
yeah,
much better.
definitely. Much better songs
Yeah.
that could have been up there, but
Mm.
it is what it is, right? It's
Mm.
the top 50 on Spotify in a different country.
Yeah. I mean, we're never going to be able to comprehend it the same way someone in South Korea does. Like, there's all sorts of different things that go on around there. Like, that's like, there's so much like other factors you have to think of in this as well. Like, I've never heard of New Jeans before until until
No.
listening to
I
this.
mean, I haven't heard of a bunch of these artists before.
Oh yeah, so,
Um,
yeah,
but like, yeah, for me that's the extent of my notes and list. Like,
yeah.
so did you add anything else to your
God,
playlist?
I actually added a bunch of stuff, realizing it. Bear in mind, I'm looking at like I had a skim through the playlist just there, and saw which ones I've liked or added to it. There's a few. Okay, let me just like tell you guys about my taste in music, by the way, because I feel like I need to explain myself for some of these. I have like a very like squeaky cheesy pop. I like guilty pleasure songs as well, right?
Yeah, he
S-
does.
so although I listen to a bunch of different things, but I also have a very niche guilty pleasure for like some absolute cheese. And there's a song called "Sneakers" by Itzy. I like that one. That was
Oh,
number
okay,
11.
yeah.
I think because for that one, it's quite upbeat, and I think it was the first upbeat song on that playlist, which I actually like enjoyed because a bunch from
Fair.
before that were either so slow or so like meh that I was like, I don't really care about this. But this one, it was like it's kind of what I imagine like from a stereotypical K-pop girl group. It's like there's a little bit of like rapping in there. I feel there's like a little bit of like pop music. Like that's the one thing. Like if someone were to come to me and say what is K-pop, I'd be like, okay, it's pop with like some sort of rap in there, and it's very like beautiful people doing it, and that's what I feel like.
Fair.
That's what I envision K-pop as, and sneakers kind of like fill that tick, like I don't know, fill that like I don't know, tick that stereotypical box of K-pop, I guess, for me. And then there's a whole other, what was it? Pop by Neon, I believe it's
Oh, yeah,
called.
yeah, yeah.
I quite like that one. Well, my notes on that. Uh, wow, I really didn't write much on this one, even though I enjoyed it quite a bit. My favorite so far, fun little pop song. It's Dancy. um, I actually added the BTS Yet to Come by BTS. One of the few songs that are on there. I added it to my playlist. Only because it felt like a kind of song that a boy band would put out. And like, like, I don't know, when they've had like quite a few years together and it's like, oh yeah, we're here guys, like we made so many good bonds or whatever. It felt like that kind of song. And it
Okay,
felt
fair.
it felt like quite emotional at sometimes, and I was like, "This is it's it's better than some of the songs that have become popular over here." You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
over here, what have we had like Dynamite, Butter, and a few other ones that were quite popular. And I feel this one actually, one, it was all sung in Korean, which was cool. And two, like it didn't feel as overproduced. I mean, granted, it is produced. It's like it's pop music at the end of the day, but like it didn't feel as like trying to be mainstream, like in the West or whatever. And I think that's why I
okay, fair.
kind of liked it a little bit. Like, granted, as we said, tastes change over time, and it might be off my playlist in a few weeks' time. Who knows? What else we added? Number 31, which is At This Moment by, oh God, WSG Wannabe. I don't know if you
I
had this one at all.
don't remember that one.
So it's another girl group. Is It's a sad yet upbeat song. I kind of like it though, and it's good vocals. I feel this is one thing I realized as well. Like WSG Wannabe is uh, a girl group project. I don't know if you know much. So where
Oh,
I've correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but it's like kind of like they had three girl groups and they combined them into one called WSG Wannabe. And like I think certain girl groups take the lead on certain songs as well. So I found that like because they have another song on this playlist and it has a different it has a different end bracket, and I was like, what does that mean? I had a little Google, and yeah, it just turns out that there's a like this whole project
okay.
thing where like it's quite
So
it's like a
it's
collaboration kind of thing. Yeah.
kind of like AKB, all of that
I'd say so.
Japan, like massive groups,
In
sort of, and
some
then
way,
different
like
people like take the obviously not exactly the
yeah.
same, but that's the only thing I can think to equate
Mm.
it to.
I'd say best way I can imagine it being is like say if you had three girl groups just all combined into one and produced an album, but certain songs, certain girl groups led on. So say if like I don't know,
Fair.
Atomic Kitten, Sugar Babes, and Girls Loud all made an album
It's
together.
funny that you mentioned Sugar Babes because I was
Yeah.
thinking, in a way, it's kind of like that, except the members rotated out,
Yeah,
some
I'd say that's
left,
very
and then
much
new
like
ones
I
came in.
I think Sugar Babes and AKB are probably the thing you can probably compare the most because they literally switch out members like that. But I think with this one,
Yeah,
it feels more of like, hey, here's a massive girl group of 12 people. It is. And each band just takes a lead on a song at certain points. So even though they're all together, there's certain lead singers and they highlighted that within this project, which is interesting.
I just think it's funny that they're like, we're putting three bands together,
Mm.
but the bands still like take the lead on separate songs. So
Yeah.
it's almost like you're one big band, but you're not.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like, yeah, the rest could be like backing singers now. That's what I comprehend from it anyway. That's what my research tells me. But
fair
I've only
enough.
listened to two songs of them. There might be different vibes for the rest of the thing.
Well,
Um,
I'd imagine so. They're three
yeah.
different bands.
And then yeah, the only other song I've got unliked is Lim Young Woo song, and it's called Nest. And I believe that's the one I compared it to a 70s Japanese television show
Oh, that's
intro.
the one literally just before Love Station.
It is literally because that's when it just crumbled down. Like, wait, what the hell is any of this? But yeah, God, it was a wild ride listening to this whole playlist. You know.
It really was. Mainly because I wasn't I don't know what I was expecting. I
Mm,
went in with maybe I went in expecting something completely different. That's why I'm sort of like indifferent to it all.
hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it just sort of it did actually to me just feel like I turned the radio on.
Okay, yeah, and it's just like everything. There were some artists though. There was I don't know if you heard this guy, J Hope at all.
Yeah,
I wrote that guy down as well because, like we said, like a lot of it just feels very similar on here at times. But there was this one dude, and he came through with some really heavy stuff. Like it was like kind of heavier than like all the rest of it was, and it kind of felt like there was a little bit of like rock kind of inspired, but then it was also like an edgy kind of vibe from
yeah.
his music. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's very different. And to see him have two songs in his top 50 is like, I don't know. It's quite big, and it's something I didn't expect either. That's what really cool. That's one of the things that really caught me off guard.
Like, I think that's also why I equate it to, like, listening to the radio,
Mm.
at least here in the UK, right? It's because it's like most of the time you'll get pop music and then you'll get this one or two outlier songs that
Mhm.
like they play that aren't very poppy.
Mm.
And that's just what this felt like. It was like lots of pop music for the obvious, we're trying to listen to K-pop. But then there's a few other songs that are like break into different genres,
Yeah.
almost as palette cleansers, but then you go straight back to what it originally was. And
Yeah.
that's why I feel like I didn't hate what I listened to, but I also didn't particularly like super I wouldn't say like enjoy I can't phrase it properly, right?
Mhm.
But I also wasn't like, oh, every song is a banger. I gotta have this
Mm.
song, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't every song hyping me up. I was just sort of like, yeah, it's a good pop song. It's cool.
Exactly, yeah. I think yeah, by no means I didn't hate any of the songs on here. There were some which I'm like, this isn't my taste, but I can understand why people like it.
Yeah.
Um, it like yeah, some of them were like, "Oh, that's a good song," but I'm not gonna put it on my playlist. It's just there. It's the same way that like I don't know if I heard fucking like Katy Perry on the radio. I not necessarily like Katy Perry sometimes might be in my vibe. It isn't. There's some songs I'd be like, okay, that's a Katy Perry song. That's fine. It's there. I'm not gonna add it anywhere. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it is decent. I think there's a lot of Charlie Puth on here, is what I realized as well. I think I didn't
Yeah.
realize how big he was. Uh,
Yeah, that's also trippy.
yeah, like quite. I think he's quite big globally as well. But I feel some of this. Like,
Is
this is
it?
what I was gonna bring up. Yeah, Charlie Puth is actually quite big, like everywhere. I believe he's one of the
I
biggest
mean, like,
artists out now. But
I figured, but like, I don't know, like, in the UK charts, not that I
mm,
keep up with that anymore,
mm.
but like, I don't know, I don't feel like I heard him much outside of Fast and Furious.
Oh god, yeah, he's like produced a whole bunch of stuff recently. He's come out with like a whole what is it like light switch or whatever is like his one of his biggest songs right now, and then obviously he's doing stuff with freaking Jungkook from BTS as well.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. I mean, there's like fair play to him. He's but this is what I was going to bring up as well is that a lot of the charts these days, even in the UK and the US, it is very much what's on TikTok right now. And sometimes if a song takes off on TikTok, more than likely it's gonna be in the charts at some point because obviously that TikTok's an app used by so many people, and like I mean, it's gonna bring you to the forefront of the music industry. Like it's gonna be there. Um, which, funny enough, like when I was talking to one of my friends recently, and they said that they went into a salon or whatever, and literally all they played were TikTok songs. So it'd be like running up that hill. What is it? Glimpse of Love, Joji, like loads of Charlie Puth songs, like all sorts. Just because it's what's
I
popular right now, and that realistically, that's what people are listening to. It's just that.
I just had such a strong feeling of despair right there.
I mean, it's an interesting one having a song blow up on TikTok because it is like sometimes it's an old song like ABBA, mate. Like fucking hell, they've come through mad because of TikTok. Like everyone's just like doing all their different songs that are
I
just
mean, fair.
dead, but they're
That
resuscitating them. Like it's mad.
fair enough.
And
It's
this is
it
why I
is what
think
it
some of
is.
these might have come to the top as well, because I don't know how big some of these artists are. Some of them might be huge. Like for example, Ling Young Woong, he won that show and he's just blown up. Like he's just got fucking 10 songs in the top 50. But some of these might have just been formed by projects or whatever. Some of them may have blown up on TikTok. I don't know any of their origins here. So like there might be songs on there where it's like, I don't get this. Why is this here? When realistically, there's outside factors that are playing into it. Is what I think. That's what I think anyway. I have no idea I don't know any of the origin stories of K-pop artists. I mean, I'd like to know some. Like, I'd be interested, but no, it's just there we go. Like, I'm not going to deep dive into every single artist and be like, oh, what's this done? What's this done? No, there's
Fair
certain
enough.
ones that'll catch my
Fair enough.
interest, and I will look into them. But yeah, that's that. Uh,
Right.
but yeah,
Let's I feel like this is a natural sort of end.
I think so as well. We listened to the top 50 and we all just found it okay. I mean, I found some decent
Yeah.
songs there. I mean, yeah, if anyone has any recommendations of K-pop songs or groups or whatever, let us know and I'll listen to them. Go on. Send them
Yeah.
through. I don't get no guaranteed I'll enjoy them as much as you do, but I'll damn well give it a try.
Well then, thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, leave us a comment, some recommendations, like Pepe said. Don't forget to listen to our podcast on audio platforms. We got the links in the description,
Hell yeah.
and we'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.